Hey Joyce and Bob, thanks for your patience. Got a little bug in my family, and I was kind of just about over it yesterday, but then ended up all night with my little girl, so I ended up sleeping, coming back home and sleeping for a little bit. This was a really easy analysis to do because the neighborhood's very established. I would love to have had more numbers, but two is good enough. So I'm going to take you through it real quickly, but basically, this is your subject property right here. They were asking 189 for it. So we can look at this one real quick. I know you've already seen it, but I'm doing this so that I can compare the finishes on the two. Between this and our two other ones. So obviously, well cared for house, looks cute. What we do here is now we're going to look at our two closed listings that we're going to get our comps from. You can see these are larger houses, but in my opinion, very, very, very comparable. So let me go back to this other one real quick. This is the next closed listing that we're going to get our numbers from. Again, looks like sand to finish. It's hard to tell. Sand to finish hardwood floors. This kitchen's not quite as nice, but it's hard to tell what the countertops are made out of it. The cabinets themselves look to be melamine, which is basically pressboard with a coating on top of it. So real durable, look decent, but they're considered builder's grade, I guess. Okay, and so then going back to the list, these are the two that are active on the market, if you like that neighborhood. This one's 214. It's a very large house. Obviously, that's going to price us out, so we'll skip over that one. And then this one's 179. Now, this is where it gets kind of crazy. So this house at 179 may need a little more TLC, just looks more lived in, doesn't look as staged. However, as you can see, this one is 179. Your other people are asking 189, and it's 200 square feet bigger. So in terms of kind of coming to conclusions, it goes really fast here. Basically, if I take my two comparable sales, I like to look at actives. It helps tell me where the market is going. But if I take the two comparable sales and I do what's called a market analysis or a CMA, I can just tell you right now that they're listed at 92 and they sold for right around 92 a square foot. That brings you out to 156. So that means that her house as it sits should be selling for 156 and she's asking 189. So it's no surprise why it didn't sell. Just the other thing I like to look at is when I'm looking at actives is if I hover over this, you'll see they're asking 88 a square foot. They're asking 90 a square foot. So people are, even the active ones aren't flying off the market at a fair price. Now, the argument from the seller, or the push from the seller, is that there's something called inversion. It just means smaller houses sell for less. My two comparables are right at 300 square feet bigger. So yes, that is true that her house should sell for more, but it's not an adjustment that an appraiser is going to make unless he has another small house. He can't just say, oh, it's going to sell for 10% more. But even then, if we hover over this, let's just say he did make an adjustment of 10%. We're 20% over what other people are getting in the neighborhood. So even inversion can account for how overpriced the house was when it was on the market. So it will save them about $8,000 to about $8,000 or $9,000 to not have a realtor. So that could get them to 179. But then that just begs the question, well, even at 179, why wouldn't I be buying this house? That one's active without a contingency. So I'm not trying to shoot a deal down, but even if we got a contract at 189, it couldn't appraise out. So that's kind of my thoughts on that. I think it's very clear cut. Some houses are super hard, and this one to me just came together really easily, and I feel very, very sure about myself on this. Now, the only other wild card is that an appraiser will pull at least one house outside the neighborhood. So you know that area better than I do in terms of what is within 2 or 3 miles. He'll try to pull like houses. But my experience is where you have a nice little subdivision like this in the country or even in Mount Juliet is most of the stuff around it isn't as nice. And even the one I sold in Smyrna earlier this summer. So going outside of the neighborhood usually only hurts you. So that could only bring the price per square foot down. But we do know for these other two, the appraiser was able to come up with comparables to justify it. So we know we can sell it for the $92 a square foot. But I would say if I was their agent and representing them, I would realistically need to tell them what I call probable sales price would be $159, and I would list at $169, and so they would still be way out of line. So hope that helps you guys. Let me know what you want to do, and we can go from there.